Good evening. There was quiet celebration at Sims Engineering in Dunedin this afternoon when it was announced the company had won the contract for the refit of the second Cook Strait ferry Arahura. Railways says it's delighted with the job Sims did on the Arahanga, and it was pleased to give the contract to a South Island firm. Kim Herring reports.
The Arahura, the second of the Cook Strait fleet, will soon be heading south. She's 20 metres longer than Arahanga and carries about 1,000 more passengers. She's going to be a much bigger job.
No problems as such. She'll be done in the middle of the winter. She's a bit bigger. She's quite a lot longer than the other one. She's newer ship. She's only 5 years old, so the repair side will not be as great. But the passenger spaces are much, much bigger, so there's a lot more to do there.
Because there's more to do, does that mean more jobs and more money in Dunedin?
Oh yes, she's a much bigger job than Arahanga, so there'll be more people involved.
The company doesn't want to disclose the value of this contract to Dunedin because it's already got its sights on the third ferry, the Aratika. Sims workers didn't have time to celebrate out loud this afternoon. They've got just too much work on to stop and pat themselves on the back. Sims is modest about the job it did on the Arahanga, but in its press release this afternoon, Railways says it was delighted with the finished product and it was pleased to award the second contract to a South Island firm.
A police constable attacked by 3 armed men in South Otago this morning may have been the target of a vendetta. Police are still searching for the men they believe lured the 27-year-old constable to a lonely road. He was handcuffed at gunpoint, assaulted and left without shoes and socks before running 3 kilometres for help. And there's more about this in the network news. Otago post-primary teachers today endorsed a plan to shut down 11 secondary schools in Dunedin indefinitely if the National Teachers Award isn't settled. But the moves brought the resignation from the PPTA of King's High Rector Ian Simpson, who says it would disadvantage Dunedin pupils.
While secondary schools throughout Otago were closed today, King's High Rector Ian Simpson and many other principals remained at their desks. But there's a big turnout of striking teachers at a meeting in the Dunedin Teachers' College. They heard from PPTA negotiators about the stalled award talks, and they agreed to Dunedin being singled out for targeted strike action next term if the dispute continues.
Members are quite solid in their determination to win this award round. The dispute isn't about money, it's not about lining our own pockets or making our job cushier. It's very much about preserving national standards in the education system, and teachers are united on that.
But Ian Simpson says while he supports the PPTA's objectives, it's wrong to disadvantage one group of school children.
It seems to me totally immoral to disadvantage one small area of the country's young people while their peers go on with their education unimpeded, unhindered.
But the PPTA says children's education will be damaged much more by the State Services proposals the teachers are opposed to.
There were a few raised eyebrows in Southland today over the design for a new provincial flag.
The blue and green design depicting land and sea was chosen as the winner of the new Project Southland promotion. The main talking point was the colour scheme.
Well, it doesn't represent anything to me for Southland.
I'm glad to see they didn't go for the maroon and gold colour, which is boring and stuffy.
Well, it would have been a hard choice out of all the ones you've got. I'm not too sure if I really like it or not.
The flag's designer, Christine Ferrier, is a Southlander studying architecture in Auckland. Her work won unanimous acclaim from the judges, who had strong reasons for getting away from the traditional maroon and gold.
Too depressing for me. Too much of it is too depressing. Or to us, we were unanimous. The judging panel were unanimous in that. It's a pretty overpowering colour, and it just suggests depression.
It's hoped the design will be used extensively on letterheads as well as atop the flagpoles of Southland.
The drought in North Otago, now into its 14th month, has been aggravated by high winds which further dried out the land at the weekend. Farmers facing winters there with little prospect of improvement say they're unable to benefit from the government's second drought relief package. Kathy Graham was at yesterday's meeting of North Otago Federated Farmers.
Concern about the drought dominated the meeting as it has done the lives of these farmers for months. But in spite of a drought package totalling $86 million, farmers are still not happy the government's doing enough. President Des Pringle, who's been a key figure in putting their concerns to government, slammed the latest drought relief package.
I tell you it is not working, and having consulted the other 3 provincial presidents, and they agree, that unless this package is allowed to work, then we formally give notice that we are seriously considering walking away from it in total.
Des Pringle says 300 farmers are in danger of having to leave their properties unless the assistance package is made to work.
I do not know of one person in North Otago who has been successful in getting this second package called the carry-on package. That being the case, then clearly it is not working.
You have to go into extra overdraft facilities to pick up that extra money. Well, point one, I don't think there would be any farmer wanting to create more debt just to pick up a drought assistance package. So to that end, I don't believe it'll work.
Mr Pringle will be meeting the 3 other presidents in the affected area next week to discuss another approach to government.
The first traverse of the Southern Alps from the south coast of Fiordland to Farewell Spit has been completed by a Dunedin man. Michael Abbott's resting up in the city after taking 4 months to climb the mountains and valleys of the South Island. Kim Herring caught up with him today to ask him the inevitable question, why did you do it?
I was driving taxis in Sydney when I got the idea, and it sort of developed from there. I suppose I wanted to get away from sort of cities at the time.
Was it a lonely experience?
At times it was, yeah. I went sort of 6 sections of over a week without seeing anyone. But I had a mountain radio with me, so that made me able to contact people anyway.
Michael and his worn-out boots were at his sister's home today, resting up for the next thing he'll be doing, touring the country with slides and stories from his amazing journey.
It's the biggest asset South Island's got. It's just beautiful. And I think it's people don't get out and about. You know, it is one of the best things. I was surprised at how few people I saw.
Were you ever frightened?
Oh yeah, a couple of times, but. You know, you just have to deal with that. There's nothing to be gained from being frightened, so you just have to sort of deal with it and continue, you know, and when you're out of it, just sit down and relax and think, oh, well, thank goodness that's over, I'll never do that again, and sort of a week later you're in the same situation and you do the same.
What about funny moments? There must have been moments that you couldn't share with anyone else.
Yes. I had one where I slipped and... I fell. It was just a 20-foot bluff, but I managed to catch myself and I was swinging from this tree, just sort of like Tarzan, you know. I just had to laugh. I just thought it was just hilarious. I was just hanging completely free.
The thing Michael missed most on his trip was pastry, but he's heading back into the hills this summer.
An amazing effort. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.